Welcome to our Focus Clarity session today. Super excited to talk about what I'm going to talk about, because one of the things a lot of people say, hey, I need some cash and I need some cash now. It's a very popular topic with a lot of people, the I need some cash now strategy. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you or show you, I'm going to share something with you that if you really want to, this idea of like $10,000 cash, right? 10,000. That's not a bad earner for a month in terms of a personal salary. We can do certainly all of us can do a lot with $10,000. But I want to show you how to get 10 grand in 30 days. So you could do this. I've had people do this in 24 hours. I've had people do it in 48 hours, in a week. It doesn't take much to actually generate $10,000. I'm going to share with you a plan, because not only are we talking about 10 grand cash in your bank account, but we also perhaps are talking about 10 grand in recurring revenue every single month, which adds $120,000 worth of annualized revenue to your business. So I'm going to be sharing my slides in just a moment. And some of you may think that this is a bit of a counterintuitive way about going to generate this outcome. So I'm going to walk you through a methodology, and then I'm going to walk you through a strategy that I have used, that a lot of the people who are my friends and who are gurus out there, they've used the exact strategy to go and pick up more than $10,000 of cash. But I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do. I'm even going to show you where to find the clients who will give you this money. I'll show you, I don't know how better I can make this, but to actually show you where the clients who have cash to spend that will pay you that kind of money. If you are with me, then all I want to see is type 1 on your keyboard to let me know that you are with me, so that I can see that we're interactive here, which is really, really important. Only 3 people are with me. Oh, now 4 people. Okay, so just type 1, right? Because what I'm about to share, what I'm going to do is a very pragmatic, simple focus, but then I'm going to share a strategy with you that's really cool. It's easy to do. It's really easy to do. And if you follow through with this, you only probably need to reach out to about between 5 and 10 people with the strategy, and 5 and 10 people will probably give you about 2 clients. In fact, 5 and 10 people, if you did this to 5 people, you should be able to get 2 clients. So if you did with this to 10 people, you would get 4 clients. 4 clients, just to 10 people. So I'm not talking thousands of leads, right? Not talking hundreds of leads. I'm talking down dirty, really simple. Anybody here on this call can do this. If you do this, I will guarantee you that you will put more than 10 grand in your bank account within a 30-day period. Okay? But it only works if you apply it, right? It doesn't work if you don't do it, right? And I'm sure you're going to find ways to explain to me how it won't work or it can't work, and I understand that. But I can tell you there are countless thousands of results that will tell you otherwise. And so the only way that you can mess this strategy up is by not doing it. That's the only way you can mess it up, right? Because the way I'm going to describe it to you, or the way I'm going to share it with you, is that it is just so freaking down and dirty, messy. You can make it pretty, but you don't have to, right? Messy is good. In fact, messy is better than pretty. Messy is better than pretty. So I will let you know about that. So let me share my screen, because I was in the lab today and I was cooking up some slides, and this is what my team put together. They stuck my face in Darth Vader's helmet, and May being May the sales be with you, right? That's we're in May. So we're in the first day for our American cousins here. It is the first day of May. For other people in the world, it is the second day of May. But we're at the beginning of May. And what we're doing here is we're trying to work on a strategy to maximize our opportunity, right? Thank you, James. To maximize our opportunity, right? To generate sales in 30 days. Like, my idea is how to put $10,000 cash in your bank account in a 30-day period. So there's this guy here. Those who don't know, this is a guy called General George S. Patton Jr. General George S. Patton is recognized in history as the greatest battlefield commander of World War II. He was the greatest battlefield commander in World War II. Unfortunately, he passed literally at the end of the war in an accident. But his famous thing was, without a plan, you're just a tourist, right? Without a plan, you're just walking around with your head up in the sky with no purpose or direction or understanding. And he was very, very big on strategy. The big thing with Patton was that he had a contingency for everything. He had the worst case scenario planned. He had the okay scenario, the livable consequence scenario, and then he had the best case scenario. So he had a plan for everything because he knew his ultimate mission and ultimate aim was to win. But in doing that, he was going to sacrifice a lot of lives, but also he was going to save a lot of lives as well in this process. But without a plan, you're just a tourist. And so I understand this because most businesses don't have a plan. Most businesses do not have a strategic plan to grow their business. And it's really hard to grow a business without thinking about how you're going to do that and where you're going to go, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a plan that I use with my champions. I'm going to walk you through the psychology, the process of what you need to do. And then I'm going to share with you a strategy that works brilliantly for you to execute on your plan. I'm going to show you a strategy on actually making the money. So I'm going to, not only going to do the plan, but we're going to make the money as well. That's the key here, right? So a quick business check. I often ask people, right? And I'm not asking you for answers on this, but I like people when you start planning, I want to know, we've got to look a little bit about history, right? So what are our things we're most proud of in the last 60 days, right? Last couple of months, we want to write down, these are the things I'm proud of. These are things I worked on. These are things that are good. These are things that happened. This is what I learned. This is what I implemented. These are the feedback, put them down, like make a list, because the idea is to realize that you have done some stuff. We've all done some stuff in the last 60 days that we should be okay with, or should be good with, and we want to write that down. We want to acknowledge that, right? So then our next thing is, what are we focusing on over the next 60 days? What are we focusing on? So if we looked at the next 2 months, what are we focusing on? And start writing down those things that we're focusing on. And then what we want to do is we want to pick our biggest roadblock or bottleneck. Now, there may be several roadblocks or bottlenecks. There may be a list of roadblocks or bottlenecks. But when you're writing this down, right, if you were to write the list, of all the list, pick the one bottleneck or one biggest bottleneck that is stopping you moving forward. So what I'd like you to do, just in the chat, if you were to think about this, think about your business, think about what you're trying to achieve. Just give me, if you thought about the number one thing right now, if you could solve this problem, it would be really, really helpful moving forward. If you can just type in the chat, a thing that is stopping you from reaching or achieving the very thing you say you want to do, what do you think that is? Just write the bottleneck down. If you can just type it in the chat, I'll give you a moment to think about it, and I'll give you a moment to write it in there. If there's one thing that if we can eliminate this problem and it would move you forward, right, to the direction you want, just one thing, if you were to do. So we've got a few people chiming in. I'm just going to open up the chat and just have a look, right, as we're doing this. Adam says, being a perfectionist, awesome. Chris, phone calls. So this is obviously cold outreach phone calls, I'm assuming, Chris. A repeatable system. So James, I don't think a repeatable system is a multiple step thing. If that is the bottleneck, right, my question to you is, Chris Lacey, confidence, good. That's a really good one. So from a repeatable system, you've got repeatable systems, James. I've spent 37 days talking about how to go and get clients, right? The only thing that's stopping you from generating a client and an outcome is actually execution. But having a repeatable system is something that you develop. That's not your bottleneck. I don't believe that's your bottleneck, James. So if we were to ask ourselves just the one thing that's stopping us moving forward, a system is a bunch of things. Just one thing, right? If we're saying, if we were going to move forward from where we are now, what is the one thing, right? John Blake, taking more action. Thank you for being here, John. I really appreciate it. One of our champions. Oscar, to prepare a good sales presentation and turn the conversation to an appointment with confidence. So Oscar, I would say not the sales presentation. I would say get the appointment, right? So the bottleneck might be you getting the appointment, not the sales presentation. Is something you develop after the getting the appointment. maybe the bottleneck is actually getting a qualified appointment. So, get the appointment with confidence. Awesome. Yeah. For John Blake, taking action. Yeah. So and those of you who are chiming in, if anybody else wants to chime in, by the way, John, thank you for getting up so early. You are 3 hours behind where I am. So early start in the morning on a Saturday morning for you. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here, mate. So if we know what our bottleneck is, now I don't want to answer the question for you because I'm sure you've got an answer, right? Zaf says a lack of sales experience. So Zaf, how do you think you would get more sales experience? Just answer the question. Or anybody can answer this question. Let's help Zaf out. Right now, you've got a lack of sales experience. How would we, Zaf says, do more talking, do more sales. Absolutely, right? Just do it, right? You're going to have to learn. The perfect sale is not in front of you, right? Oscar says confidence. I don't think Zaf needs confidence. I think Zaf needs action. Zaf needs to actually do the thing that he knows that he's got to do, but in some ways there are certain elements of that are holding him back, right? So if we know what the roadblock is, there's one roadblock. My question is, if we were to eliminate the roadblock, what would be the outcome to getting that roadblock eliminated? That's the next question, right? The next question is, if I've got this roadblock, there's one thing, if I can just fix this one thing, what would be the result? What would be the direct result, right? Or the most immediate result that would happen if you alleviated or removed that roadblock? So Adam says lots of money. That's really broad, Adam. That's really broad. So if we were to eliminate that roadblock today, that means you're going to have a lot of money tomorrow, right? What difference? What's going to change? I want you to get more specific, right? For Oscar, it'll get sales opportunities. Yep, next sales opportunity. Awesome. Yeah, right? So understand that when I'm thinking about what my roadblock is, right, whatever's stopping me, I just want to solve that one little problem. And I've got to put it in a context. What am I not doing? What's actually missing in the piece of thing? How am I thinking about this? Who is actually doing it the way I like to do it, right? What can I do, right? John says full funnel, confidence, momentum. Absolutely, right? It'll free me up to take action. Yes, Adam, absolutely, right? It'll free you up. Getting that bottleneck out of the way will free you up to get action. Now, you may not be the person who fixes this bottleneck, by the way. You might have somebody else. Maybe it's cheap enough to have somebody else do the thing that you don't want to do for you, right? If it's appointment setting, you can hire a commission-only appointment setter. So I'll pay you $50 an appointment, right? If that appointment shows up, you get $50. Make 5 appointments. It's cost you $250. You make a sale, right? Your sale might be $10,000 to $20,000 or $30,000. How many people here, type 2, if you would pay $250 to make a $30,000 sale? How many people would type 2? Type 2. Yeah. Right? But so that's the thing, right? We all say we would do it. My question is, why wouldn't you do that right now? If you're willing to pay $250 to go make a $30,000 sale, then go and do that. Go and set. There's plenty of appointment centers out there who are really good and say, listen, I'll give you $50 cash if this person shows up. I need this person. Can you make an appointment for me? This is what we sell. This is what we do. Give me 2 appointments a day. You're going to make $100 a day, right? But you will sell 1 in 5, right? Even if you sold 1 in 10, right? To pay $500 for a $30,000 sale, it's a no-brainer, right? Adam says, it's really strange. I know I'm good at sales and cold calling, but for some reason. So the question, Adam, I'd like to ask you, I want you to think about this, and we're going to circle back to this, right? Right, yeah, $50 an appointment. Yeah, I've paid $200 for an appointment. In fact, I was paying somebody $800 for an appointment because for every $4,000 we spent, we made $60,000. And an $800 appointment was really qualified, really qualified. So we were paying $4,000 for a $60,000 sale. I'd pay $4,000 for a $60,000 sale every day of the week, and then some, right? Because I'm also thinking lifetime value. The average client lasted 3 years, so I was really paying $4,000 for $180,000, right? So if all of us would pay that, then maybe that's an eliminate. Then maybe filling the funnel or filling your appointment calendar, maybe that's a priority. Work with somebody and say, listen, you put somebody on my calendar. If they're qualified and they show up and they buy, you get $50. If they buy, I'll kick an extra 100 or 200 if they buy, right? And you can work out those deals. I've got somebody that closes a deal a day like that. They get 1 sale every day from the appointments that are set. They're getting, I think they get 10 appointments per week. So it's, what's that? 40 appointments in a month. 40 appointments a month, right? They're making 2 sales a week. They're making 2 sales a week. So they get 2 appointments per day, paying $100 a day, they make 2 sales a week. It's crazy, right? $500 a week to make 2 sales, and their average sale is $24,000. So $48,000 a week in sales. That's nearly $200,000 in a month. And their payout for that is $2,500 plus if they pay the commissions on that. I think they pay another $2,000 in commissions on top of that. So what's that? $4,500 to make 200 grand worth of sales. I do that every day of the week. Right? So bottlenecks. What is our biggest bottleneck that we need to eliminate and remove is a question, right? Yeah, and Michael says $250 for a 30K deal is a no-brainer. The reason someone won't do it is because making a sales call isn't really the real roadblock. The real roadblock is probably the clarity. It might be, Michael. For some people, clarity is the roadblock. Haven't got the right offer, haven't really thought it through, haven't looked at, thinking about the results of the client. There's all those sorts of things, but none of that happens unless you actually take the action. And so we can look at a roadblock, and every one of us can solve that problem to move the needle, right, in what we're doing. Now, this is a learning curve. So I'm going to give you an example just to give you perspective here in the agency world. Most people who are kind of starting out or are fresh or starting from scratch, it takes them like this to get, it's a mindset thing. It's got nothing to do with skill. It's more about the mindset, right? It takes them sometimes a year, right, to get their head around getting into, hey, I need to be, they learn all this stuff, right? I'll give you an example. I had a person who bought a program off me, and I think it was like $3,000 a month program. And in that program, I gave them one phone call where they got a chance to talk to me. I laid out a whole plan, gave them the script, gave them the whole process, had the sales thing, they had everything, right? I think it was $3,000 they spent with me. And then I didn't hear anything from them. They just disappeared, right? And so it's really funny. A year later, they come back to me and like they just haven't done anything. Right? They didn't action anything. In fact, they went and bought another 3 or 4 other programs, right, to learn from. But they hadn't actually they really hadn't done anything. They hadn't really followed through on the training, right? But this is what the person said to me. He said, you know what? I listened to our phone call from a year ago. They came back to me. So I listened to the phone call that we had. It was a 90-minute phone call. And you told me, you gave me everything. All the things you said, everything that I needed to do, you gave it to me all. And you know what? I actually did it, and I got a freaking client, like within a few days. But it took me a year to get my head around that I actually wanted to do this. It took me a year of messing around, learning a whole bunch of shit before I was ready to take the action that I believe that I should have been taking, that I could have taken a year ago and probably built a $500,000 business within 12 months or a couple $100,000 in 12 months. It took me 12 months to finally go do this, right? So I find on average, people in this game, I can give you, there's some gurus in our game. I'm not going to mention the names, but they've kind of been up and comers in the last 2 or 3 years, right? It took them 2 years to kind of figure out what was going on for them before they can go and teach it to somebody else, right? But it took 2 years from scratch to figure out what was going on, what was working, what was not working, and all of that process. Now, could they have sped up the process? Absolutely. The thing that would speed the process up was how you're thinking and the actions you take. And most people don't take enough action. Most people here, like I'm not denigrating you for what I'm about to say. I'm just saying this is just what happens. The reason why people find it challenging to make any money in this game is, number one, they just don't put enough offers out there in the marketplace. That's number one. Number two, not very clear about what they're offering. They're saying, yeah, we do Facebook ads. But if I sat down and said, hey, how many Facebook ads have you run? I'd go, 1, 2, or maybe 1 or 2 campaigns. How many Facebook ads are you running for yourself? None. Okay, that's a problem, right? If you're selling Facebook ads, you've never run a Facebook ad for yourself. How the hell are you going to sell Facebook ads? You've got to learn how to go and do this, right? Or you've got to at least do this, right? Run ads. Like if you're running a Facebook lead company, why the hell are you not running Facebook ads for yourself? Because you can get leads. You know how to get leads for other people. You can get leads for yourself, right? You do AdWords, you should be able to get AdWords leads for yourself, right? So it seems like an odd thing. People will spend tens of thousands of dollars on courses, but they won't go and spend $100 on an ad campaign that'll put them in front of a $30,000 or $20,000 customer, right? It doesn't, it defies any sense whatsoever, right? So that's the second thing, the clarity, the offer, understanding the result, right? The workflow. But here's the thing, there's people here on this call right now who have generated sales just by following the stuff that I've been doing in the last 35, 30, or it's actually we're up to day 36, 37 now. In the last 37 days, I've shared so many different tactical things you can do. A whole bunch of people on here have actually applied some of those things, and they've actually gotten sales. It didn't take them a year to get a sale. It didn't take them 6 months to figure it out. They've just been going in and applying and going, okay, let's make some mistakes. Let's do this, follow through. And lo and behold, Mark Jean, I'm going to point you out, right? 30 days later, 5 sales, right? So it doesn't take months or years to figure this out. 80% of this is right here in our head, right? If you like the idea of what you do, then you're going to help people. That's the key. I love what I do. That's why I go and help a lot of people, because I love what I do. If you like what you do, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you'll help a lot of people, right? So whatever the roadblock is, right, you've got to think, okay, so let's drill into the roadblock. How do we eliminate this? And many times it's a reframe. It'll be a belief, some behavior, something that you need to create a frame of reference for to understand, look, at the end of the day, this is the truth. If I do this, feedback, result, outcome. If I keep doing this, this is the feedback, result, outcome. So I need to change this one thing so that I can move forward, right? Adam says, since being on these calls, I've actually rebranded my agency. Awesome, man. Congratulations, Adam. That's awesome, right? So understand, so Michael Nola pay, yeah, okay. So let's keep going, because I want to make sure that I answer your questions. So quick business check, the wins. What have we done that we're proud of, that we like, that we know that we're good? Big or small, it doesn't have to be huge, right? What are we going to do in the next 60 days? What are we thinking about, right? What is our biggest roadblock or bottleneck that we need to fix? What do we need to help with right now to move forward, right? If it's too many steps, pick one of the steps, fix the step, then get the next step, fix the step, and next step. James, having a repeatable system, I've shown you how to have a repeatable system. Today, I'm going to show you how to do a repeatable system. The only thing that's going to stop you from doing the repeatable system is actually doing it. That's the only thing that's going to stop you. The thing that I'm going to show you today, anybody can do this, everybody can do this. And if you do this, I'll guarantee you, you will make money, you'll make clients. If you do this thing that I share with you today, I will guarantee you, I would have to eat my hat if you couldn't make any money out of it. It would just take sheer incompetence, stupidity, and laziness not to make money. And this is not a hard strategy. So I cannot make it any easier for you other than me hopping out of this screen into your business and doing it for you, right? So I know I'm being facetiously funny when I say that. Yeah, so let's go, right? Planning structure. I'm going to walk you through what we call BAMOS, the important numbers, the motivation, leverage, reward strategy, key projects, clarity, conversion, leverage, milestone, revenue, scale. I'm going to talk about these things. And then the last thing, which is the bonus, is I'm going to give you a strategy to generate lack of focus, looking down at 4 PPL, PPL deals. Wins, landing nationwide. Yeah, absolutely. Scott McConaughey, our champion. Good to see you here, mate. So we've got a few champions here, so it's nice to see some of our champions here. So BAMOS, right? So what BAMOS stands for is, BAM stands for bare ass minimum. So if I was to say, what is it going to cost me for my life? Pay my bills, pay my staff or my team, have money for food, have money for lifestyle, have some money for fun. What is the minimum amount of money that you must earn every single month to manage your lifestyle? So in running a business, so my BAM would be between 70 to 100 grand, right? 70,000 to 100 grand a month. I'm going to make that before I make money. I make that much before I make money. Now, you know, that stands to reason is because of the nature and the size of the business, right? So understand my BAM would be 100K, right? That's my BAM, right? Bare ass minimum to survive, right? So objective, generally what most people do is they double the bare ass minimum, right? The BAM, they normally double. So the objective, what is it that you're going to go for? What do you need to do to be over and above where you are, better than where you are, so you can double the objective, right? And then what people do is the S stands for stretch, right, is most people will double that again. Now, this is what most people will do. I'll give you an example. Will Wang, one of our consulting champions, I did this exercise with him. And he says, hey, dude, I need like 10K a month to cover the bills and lifestyle and everything like that. I need that, right? And he said, but 20K a month, that's not enough for me, right? 20K is not enough. So I said, okay, great, let's make it 30, right? So as it makes 30. Now, listen, if we're going to go for it, if we're really going to go for it as a stretch, right? What would you pick as a stretch? And he said, you know what? I'm going to put 80 grand down. I'm going to put 80 grand as my stretch, right? Now, for 6 months, Will sat on his hands. He was working a full-time job, and he was playing at being an agency owner. He was playing at being an agency owner. And he sat there and said, you know what? I'm sick and tired of all this crap. He basically said, John, this is ridiculous. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to make this thing work. I want to go for the freaking thing and make it happen. So within 30 days, Will Wang put $150,000 in his bank account. Within 30 days, he exceeded his stretch. Now, he didn't know how he was going to get there because that wasn't the plan. The plan was get 30 grand, right? But he thought, you know, to hell with this. I'm sick and tired of messing around. I'm sick and tired of not closing deals. I'm sick and tired of not making appointments. I'm sick and tired. I've had enough, right? I need to do the things that I say that I'm going to do, and I need to follow through this to make this a reality. So he went for his stretch. His stretch was 80. He ended up with 150 grand, right? Now, in that year, when Will finally decided that he was actually going to build a real business, in that year, Will hit his stretch 5 times. So can you imagine 5 months of the year, you're actually hitting your stretch, overreaching your objective in the marketplace. So if you don't set it as a possibility, then you won't. Then there's no way you're going to get there, right? But oftentimes when I set a stretch, I don't know how I'm going to get to the stretch, right? But sometimes I've set some really big stretches. I'll give an example. One time we had a 2-week period, and I said, hey, we've got to bring in, right? We've got to close X amount of deals in the space of the next 2 weeks so that we can do the thing that we say we want to do. We're going to reward ourselves to do this. So I sat there, and by hook or crook, on the last day, I was $5,000 short from this stretch. On the last day, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I am scrambling to get a deal or get some cash banked in that last few hours of the day, right? Because it was the last day of the set objective, and I was 5 grand short of the stretch, right? And it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At 3:30, I had somebody call me and said, hey, we need to get started. I need to do this. And I said, great. Give us your credit card. Let's take a deposit, right? So I got my 5 grand. But at 4:30 that afternoon, I get another phone call because I'd been following up like crazy, going crazy. Guy gets back to me and says, yeah, okay, yeah, we need to do this. Send me an invoice and let's get started. I said, I'll go you one better. You got the credit card handy? Great. What's the numbers? Great. So the deposit's going to be this. I've sent you the invoice right now. It's going to be there in the next 60 seconds. My team's going to get on this and we're going to get started, right? So it was 4:30 in the afternoon. And I had to scramble and make sure that all these people are okay because they paid the deposits. So I was already 6 grand over my stretch, right? So it's 7 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden, I get a reply from an email, and I'd sent somebody a link, and I didn't even pay any attention. It was a payment link. And I didn't realize that they deposited $20,000 in the bank account, right? They deposited a $20,000 deposit in the bank account. But they emailed me saying, it's all good. I got your email. I've taken care of it. So I go back and check, and there's like 20 grand. So I was $26,000 over my stretch. And this happened on the last day of the stretch. What you're focusing on most, where your intention is, right? It doesn't matter by hook or by crook, whatever happens. I might have ended that day 4 grand short of my stretch, but mind you, that stretch was more than double what my objective was. So it was already a freaking awesome month. It was already a month. But just that last little bit, like, I've got to be able to get that happening. I've got to do it, right? What am I going to do? I was literally going crazy all day. Who can I offer? Who can I follow up? How do I do it? And the last 3 hours, last 4 hours of that day, I exceeded that stretch by more than $26,000, right? The reason I share this to you is where is your attention and where is your focus? Right? That's the question I want to ask. So we all set our objective. This is how we set objectives in champions, right? So the important numbers that you need to be aware of. Average sale, let's say average sales 3K. We want to make $10,000 or $20,000, whatever our stretch is, right? So the number of clients I need, let's say I want to make up to 10 grand. I need 3 clients at 3K. I need 1 client every 10 days. I need 1 client every 10 days to hit that objective in a 30-day period, to put $9,000 in the bank account. I actually need 4 clients, right? But essentially, I'm roughly needing 1 client every 10 days, right? So my number of presentations, if I close 1 in 4, if my thing was, that means I would need 12 presentations in the month. I would need 3 presentations per week, right? Then qualifying calls. So I need to be able to speak to at least 3 times the number of presentations, 36 people. So that's essentially 9 calls per week, 2 calls per day. 2 calls per day puts $9,000 worth of cash in my bank account. 2, not 20, not 30, not 100, 2, right? Then number of leads. I need roughly about 120 leads, right? 30 leads per week, 6 leads per day, right? To be able to make 3 sales for 3 grand per month. That's recurring. So each sale is worth $36,000, right? And that's basically me putting a very simple plan. So what you do is you've got, let me just go back up to the previous one. So you've got your BAMOS, I'm a bare ass minimum, my objective, my stretch, put the numbers down, right? Then what you want to do is, what does that look like? If my average sale is X amount of dollars, how many clients do I need, right? How many clients do I need in a month to hit that outcome? The number of presentations that I've got to do per week, the number of qualifying calls I've got to have done. Now, I don't need to do qualifying calls. I can hire that appointment setter that I'm paying commission only to do the qualifying calls for me, right? I need 9 a week, 2, not even 2 a day, right? Number of leads, about 120 people. I don't need thousands of leads. I don't need fucking 10,000 people to go out to. I just need this number to work these numbers back. So the important numbers in what I do, right? That's how I do this. Next, right? Why is this a must? We need motivation, we need leverage, and we need reward, right? So why, right? If you think about why you've got to hit this objective at the end of the month, I'd love to, a little bit of interaction here. I'd love to get your answer as to why this is important. Why is it important for you to hit your objective at the end of the month? Why, right? Why is it important? Why is it a must? Just type in the chat. Why is it a must? A few people jumping in. It's really cool that we're interacting here, right? Yes, Scott, you will. By the way, Scott, we did this a couple of days ago. It's actually in the Champions portal. You've already got it. Mark, freedom. Okay, so what does that mean, Mark? Freedom. What does that mean, right? Freedom is a very big word. Why is it a must, right? So I can move out of Dayton, Ohio. Okay, great. Right? How much is it going to cost you to move out of Dayton, Ohio? Why is it an absolute must that you move at the end of the month, right? I need to move. I understand, right? Okay, great. I'm fed the fuck up with being broke. Yes, absolutely. So you've got the leverage, right? 30,000 miles start for the first, yes. To Budapest for fun. Awesome, Michael. Zaf, sick of my job. I've been at this for a year, a bit like the story you shared earlier. My birthday's in 16 days. Would be amazing to present, amazing present to myself. Music is my passion. I want to work on more. Awesome, right? Self-supporting mobile. Yes, Chris. Tired of the feast and famine. Yes, awesome. Actual must is bullet points, cash flow. Yeah, right. Absolute must. Right. Why is it a must? So if it's a must, is it a must like you need to breathe? That's how much of a must you need to make it, right? Deposit for a new place. Yes, absolutely, Oscar. That's how much of a must you need to make this. If it's not a burning, I really need to have this, I need to do this, then I don't care what plan you've got in place, you are never going to execute on this plan. I don't care what you do, you're never going to execute on this plan, right? Right? James says nothing's worse than stress. Yeah. Well, to eliminate stress, you've got to get into routine. You've got to actually nourish, nurture. You've got to take the actions towards the things you desire as your outcome, and the stress would go out the freaking window, right? There's many ways to manage stress, yeah? So I understand that it has to be a must, if it's a must. So here's the thing, my question to you, right? If you don't achieve the objective that you set at the end of the month, and this is a challenge, right? What penalty are you going to give to yourself? So here's a couple of penalties. If you don't hit your objective at the end of the month, you're going to shave your head. Now, for some people here, I know you've already got a shaven head, so maybe you need to shave something else, right? Eyebrows, right? If I don't hit this as a goal at the end of the month, I'm going to shave my head, right? That's a penalty. That's leverage, right? And if you tell somebody, if I don't hit this objective by the end of the month, I'm going to shave my head, and you're going to get them to shave it. And they're going to remind you at the end of the month, how do we go? That's leverage, right? No ice cream is not enough leverage, Chris, not enough leverage, right? Leverage. So I'll tell you what one of my leverages was. I had a surfboard, and there's a famous world champion surfer called Mark Richards. He has a beautiful boards. The monicum on those boards is an MR. I had one of his originals, right? And it was signed by Mark Richards. Personally, I had one of his originals, and I had it hanging up. I'd never used the board. I had it hanging up to me. So it was worth 20 grand. It was worth 20 grand, right? For the surfboard. So it was a collector's edition. And if you look up Mark Richards, he's a 70s icon surfer, lives out in Newcastle, Australia. So I had this board, and my leverage, I set an objective, and somebody told me this, said, if I didn't achieve my goal, right, I have to break this board. I have to break it. I have to break it in front of people. I'm going to make a show of it, right? I'm going to break the board, right? And so I didn't hit the goal. And so I put the board between two chairs, and I jumped up and jumped down, and I broke the board. Now, never, ever, ever, ever again did I not hit my objective. John Blake knows what I'm talking about. He's going, no! I actually got another one. I went to him personally. I told him the story, and he sent me another one. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I did. That was my leverage. If I didn't follow through on what I said that I wanted to do, that was my penalty, and I had to do it in front of a whole bunch of people. So I invited my friends for a barbecue and said, guys, I said that I'd do this. This is what I'm doing. And they saw it. Like, mouths were like aghast. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You couldn't pick another thing, right? I wanted to make a point, right, to myself, right? Now, like I said, I've got the replacement, yeah? The leverage has to hurt. You have to feel not physical pain, but it has to feel like you've let yourself down and say, I will never do this again. I will never, ever let myself down again. If I set something as a task, I set something as an outcome, I will never, ever do this again for my life. If you really want it bad enough, you need leverage, right? Now, I'm Marie Kondo, the declutter. Yeah, scrub clean every nook and cranny. Absolutely, right? So leverage, right? What is your leverage? I'm not asking for you to put the leverage as the answer here. I'm not asking the interaction. Think about it, right? You won't achieve, unless you put some juice, right, some motivation into this. There's no way, there's many times, whatever you said isn't really that important. Is it really that important? Chris, is it really that important to you? James, is it really that important to you to actually get some cash flow and make some money? Is it really that important to you, right? Because if it's not really that important to you, that means, and you're not making it, it's not really that important to you, right? If it's really important to you, you would actually do something about it, right? You would do the things you know that you must do to make that a reality. That's when it becomes really important. So leverage is cool. Now, that's the pain side of it. What about the pleasure side of it? If you hit the objective, the outcome, what are you going to do for yourself, right, to acknowledge that you did it for yourself? You want to, one of the things that I've often found is most people do not take profits from their investments or their businesses. They don't take out the profits. I've made mistakes in the past where I've just sunk all the profit back into the business to grow the business. And I really didn't need to do that. What I should have done was taken out chunks of money, use them for other leverage opportunities, and not leave it in the business, right? Because at the end of the day, I could always make more, right? But you need to take the profits, right? So reward yourself, right? Go take, you get to the objective, get to the outcome, go and take 2 days in a luxury 5-star hotel on a beach somewhere, right? Go away, right? Take a flight somewhere. Well, you can't do that right now, but you can when you can, right? Do something nice for yourself. Spend some time with the family. Do something crazy for them, right? Reward the family because you've achieved this thing. Reward. Motivation, leverage, reward is going to get you there, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Now, milestones, right? I like to work in milestones. And so whatever your current, what is the next, I'm not, please don't type this in the chat. I'm just giving you this as an example, right? What is the next milestone that you need to get to? So one of the things we talk about in Champions is how do we move from where you are right now at this level? We know how to get there, but let's go to the next level up, or let's do a curve jump and go 2 to 3 levels up. So if we're here, can we bump up to 2 or 3 levels? What's the next milestone that you need to achieve? You need to set that as an objective. You need to put that up in front of you, right? So what is it? 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K, right? Whatever it is per month, right? $84,000 per month in recurring revenue is a $1 million business. $84,000 a month, right, is a $1 million business. $100,000 a month is a $1.2 million business, right? So whatever that milestone is, that's all you need to go for. You don't, like aiming for $1 million agency business. Well, that's 27 clients at $3,000 a month. That's 27 clients at $3,000 a month. That's not going to happen in 30 days. It will if you've got a team, and it will if you've got a bucketload of opportunities to go after. That will happen in 30 days. If you're ready, some people can do that, right? Right now, I've got some champions in 2 months, added $600,000 of revenue in 2 months. 2 months, right? I think it's going to take them another 3 months to add another $30,000 or $40,000 to hit the $1 million run rate, right? I think it's going to take, if they do what they're doing, well, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. They might hit the $1 million mark in 2 months' time. So can you imagine from February, right, to June, February to June, $1 million run rate in the business, right? Less than half a year. That's what's possible. But the idea is that what is the next milestone, right? I look at my business and my business entities, and I always say, right, what's our next milestone run? Because we always want to be, every 90 days, we want to be better off than we were the previous 90 days. Every 90 days, we want to be better off. Now, there are moments where you take dips, and there are moments where you go up in the cycle, right? Yeah. So whatever you want to do, that's the way you want to go. Yeah. So milestone, pick a milestone, write it down. It has to be visible. What you're doing today, I hope you will look at this every day. That's what I want you to do. Whatever notes you're taking, this page that you're writing on right now, right? I want you to look at this page every single day, right? So let's go to the next one. I've talked about this before, but I get a champion to do this. This is a whiteboard, right? And you'll see that there is a graph here or a chart here on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, it's the amount of number of clients. On the bottom over here is the amount of time to get those clients. The goals that the person set, they want $15,000 in MRR happening in a 90-day period. They want to pick up 12 clients. The average client revenue is about $1,250. All the things that we've just done, right? Their conversion rate is 25%. They've got to get 48 appointments in 3 months. They've got to do 4 appointments per week, right? Their BAM, their objective, their stretch above there on the right-hand side, the actuals, so they actually fill in the whiteboard, the sales activity, LinkedIn campaign, emails, discovery calls, other they're not sure, but they're putting down what their activities are, and then they're going to put those numbers down next to, right, 80 connections per day on LinkedIn. They've had 4 discovery calls, right, in the thing. Now you'll notice the post-it notes, right? The post-it notes for there are the clients, right? Client number 1, sorry, the post-it notes, sorry, are the appointments, right? Because they need 12 sales. No, they need 12 clients. 12 clients. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now notice there's a post-it note underneath the chart where they generated a client. So the next client, they take that client off, cross them out, and put them underneath. This is a very physical representation that I recommend everybody do. I've shown charts like this before. You can do this on a big white piece of paper, very expensive piece of technology. It costs $2 to go to Staples or Officeworks to pick up a white plain poster paper, right? Super expensive. A Sharpie, $2, right? A ruler, maybe a couple of bucks. Use the ruler and Sharpie, post notes, $4, so under $10 or under $15, you've got the most powerful piece of technology available to you right now to generate sales. What you focus on most, what you track and measure becomes real. That's what you can manage. But if you don't track it, if you don't measure it, if you don't look at the adjustments as you go along to the target you're achieving, you won't get there. This is the easiest way I know for you to hit those outcomes if you apply what I'm sharing with you. So, any questions? Any questions? Happy to take some questions before I move on. If you want me to keep going, just type 2 on the keyboard and I'll keep going. 222, awesome. All right, let's keep going, people. Right? Because we've got to make some sales. Okay. So, adding 10K in 30 days. Here's what you got to do, right? If your average sale is between 2 and 3K, you need 3 to 5 clients in 30 days. A client every 10 days or more, right? 5K clients, 2 clients, or 1 client at 10K. 2 clients for 5K for a service, 1 client at 10K, right? The idea is we'll make add an extra $10,000 in the next 30 days, right? What is your offer? What could I sell that can make $10,000? So what are you selling, right? Because you've got to be super clear about what you're selling. And what is the offer that I can make that, or what is something that I can generate 10K? Who or what type of business needs it right now? So who needs this thing right now? Because I need to go and offer it to those people, right? What is my approach? Now, if you go and watch any of the videos from the last 36 days, I've given you 50 different approaches. I'm going to share an approach today, but I've given you 50 different ways to go and get clients. So we don't need to talk about that here, right? Be consistent, be persistent, be relentless. Be consistent, persistent, and relentless. Remember, 30 days is a deadline. We're going to hit this outcome. Everybody here, you've been making this plan. You need to go and execute on this plan, right? So I'm going to share with you a really cool tool. I call it the Scrum Project Management. Now, if you are in the software game, you will know what I'm talking about. There is a methodology called Scrum and Agile, and this is how they get projects done. This is how we get projects done. This is how I teach my champions to get projects done. So in the Scrum board, this is a this is a piece of paper up on the wall, and we have a project, right? And so what we've got is we've got a hopper at the left-hand side, and we have 3 tasks in the hopper. 1, 2, 3. We don't have more than 3 projects in the hopper. Only 3. There are 3 things. You want to pick in a 90-day period 3 of the most important things that you need to get done over 90 days, right? So then on Sunday, we have a to-do for the week, right? If you are responsible, or if you have a team member responsible, you're going to pick the projects that you're going to work on. So if it's just you're going to pick 1 project, right? And then what you're going to do is you take it out of the hopper and you make a calendar diary date of when you're going to work on this project, right? If the project requires multiple hours, then you're going to put multiple hours and appointment hours in your calendar to complete this project, right? If you don't complete the project goes back to the hopper, or the project goes back to we're going to do this next week, right? So what you're focusing on, you're only focusing on 1 thing at a time, right? Then when it's done, you move it from the doing right now to done. And then what you do is you go back to the hopper and you pull out a project, right? It's a really simple way, but let me tell you, I've got people who've done this, like Mark Condell, one of our champions. He did this like religion. He sat there and said, mate, this is such a simple idea. I'm going to follow this process. He said, I got more done in a year than I've done in the last 5 years. I got more things that I put together in the last 12 months than I could possibly do over a 5-year period, because all I did was just focus on 3 things, 3 projects at any one time. And so if a project was complete, I could only put 1 more project above. So you can only replace a project with a project. You can only have 3 projects at any one time. It's a really simple system, very powerful strategy. We do this every single quarter. So my project this month is to relaunch our podcast. Another project this month, I've got a campaign that's coming out that I'm developing. It's going to be launched in a few weeks' time, or in about a week's time. We've got another project where we're actually transferring all our materials and trainings from champions into a whole new platform to make it easy for our members to navigate. So they're my 3 projects for the next 90 days, right? 2 of those projects are in alignment for generating revenue and sales in our business, right? So understand that this is a simple process, very easy to use. So strategy. Now let me just go back up one. Answer that question. So question, what do you think is more effective, a physical scrum board or one like Trello? A physical scrum board, Michael, every day of the week, because it's tactile. I can pull the notes, I can touch it, I can see it. In Trello, I can have multiple scrum boards in Trello, and I can move things around. If you trust yourself, then put the scrum in Trello. But for me, we have it in our own management software, but I like to see it on the board. I like it clean, right? I like to have it clean, yeah? Same thing with the chart that I showed you just before. Same thing with that. I like it clean, right? I like it clean and out in the marketplace. So looking at my timing here, I want to get through this and I want to be able to answer your questions here. So I sat down and I was thinking about this last night, and I thought, if I just want to go down and dirty, and what I mean by just keeping it really basic and really simple, and I want to generate $10,000 or more cash, what would I do? what would I do? And I was thinking about guys like Neil Patel. I was thinking of guys like Gary Vee. I was thinking about guys like Brennan Dunn, Ramit Sethi, people that I know that they've all done this. In fact, some of them actually teach this, right? But I know back in the day, 30 years ago, when I was trying to start my first consulting agency, this is what I did. This is what I did. I know a lot of people that I work with have done this, but the way I'm going to describe it to you is you only need between 5 and 10 prospects. You only need 5 and 10 prospects. I'm going to show you where you can find prospects really easy, right? But you only need about 5 or 10 people to do this. And if you do it with 5 to 10 people, you'll get 2 clients. If you do what I'm telling you to do, and I'm literally going to step you through it and walk you through it, right? If you do, you should be able to get at least 2 clients, 1 to 2 clients for every 5 people you do this with. So you don't need hundreds of leads. You don't need thousands of leads. You only really need about 10 people. Now, in a month, you could manage 10 relationships in a month. I don't know anybody. That's like 3 touch points 3 times over the course of the month. That is so doable. You could spend half an hour doing it and walk out. But I want to explain, you need to really think about what I'm going to be sharing with you and how you apply this. Because the way I'm going to describe it to you, or the way I'm going to walk you through, is how I would do it. And it is how some of my mentors and predecessors have done it. And it works. It works gangbusters. It works gangbusters. It's not very difficult to do. A little bit of time involved to do it. But if you do this, it would be very hard not to get clients. Right? If you did this and you weren't getting clients, you're not doing it right. You're being either incredibly lazy or you're just purposely messing this up. And it's not. And the way I'm going to share it with you is I want to make it as messy as possible. The way I did it messy. I did not make this polished. I did not do this professionally. If anything, it was very raw. It was this. I was taking the approach as if I was a friend. What I did was when I did this, I took the approach. If you're my best friend, right, I would talk to you in this way, and I would approach you in this way. So messy, right? No polished, right? I want to preface this because some of us are ducks and some of us are do's. I'm a do. If you're a do, you can go messy. If you're a duck, right, where you have to get your ducks in a row, right, you can make this as pretty as you like. You can make this look fantastic. You can go to all the effort. You can go to all the stuff. Let me tell you, whether you do it messy or you do it perfect, you're going to get the same result, right? So I like messy. I'm do, I'm not duck. I'm do, I'm not duck. All right. So let me walk you through the strategy. I'm going to give you the steps. I'm going to explain the concept. I'm going to show you where you can get the freaking clients from, right? I'm going to show you clients with money, cash to spend, right? And there's thousands of them. There's a couple of places, but I'm going to show you one place just to give you an example, right? Are we ready? Just type 3 on your keyboard so I know that you're hearing and listening to me. And if you're ready. 3, 3, 3. Let's go. All right. Only 4 of us are ready. Amazing. So everybody else is asleep. Okay. I know the suspense is killing me. Yes. It's really important that we actually communicate and engage here. Omar, good to see you, mate. Mark, yeah, 3, 3, 3, 3. Michael, well, they've all got clients already. Or have they? Thanks. Shite internet. Okay, so here is the idea. Let me just open this up. Let me close this. Let me move this out of the way, right? So you need to find companies. Don't find what you can do or what you do. That's the second bit. We need to find companies. We need to get a list. Now I'm going to show you Crunchbase in a moment. To show you how to find companies that are very, very well funded, who have cash, and they need to spend the cash now. They need to spend it fast. They're acting very quickly. I'll explain why in a moment. But Crunchbase, companies on the Inc. 5000, really easy to define, right? What you want to do is you want to check out their sites, check out their business, and you want to create a detailed recommendation for the fixed and you want to let them know that you can help. So what you're going to do, you're not doing a review. You're not doing it like, don't go, I'm going to do a video review of your website. Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying here. I need you to do the homework on the business. I need you to think about what you do and how you help. And if they were your best friend, what would you do for them? So I'll give you an example. If you're doing Facebook ads and you go to a company and you see how they market, or you see what their representation is, the company, what you want to do is either go and pick a Facebook ad and pull it apart, right? That they have in the market, pick an ad from a competitor, pull it apart, but then give them the actual suggestion of the fix. So if I was going to run ads, here's 3 Facebook ads that I would run and test in A/B split test for your business. And here's why I would run these ads. The information you give has to be highly detailed. The email you're going to write is probably going to take you 5 or 6 pages of information. You're going to bullet point, and you're going to provide as much value as possible in this idea. You're going to give as much as you can, as much insight, what you can. And the person you're going to reach out to is the CEO of the company, decision maker only, right? So we're going to go and find the thing, check their site, do a little bit of research. How would we fix this company? What recommendations would we make? What do they have to change? What do they have to fix? Are call to actions wrong on their website? Is their ad campaign currently not really sticking, that you think, like you can actually assess an ad campaign using like iSpionage, right? You can sit there and say, look, your landing page sucks. Here's 3 landing pages that work right now that are converting sales in your marketplace. I've actually found them for you. Here they are. So you want to show this is a detailed share. Right? This is a big give. Think about it. My best friend, right? The most important person in the world. If I really wanted to help them, what would I do to help? So it has to be really detailed, very intense. That's why you could be writing War and Peace or the Bible. It doesn't have to be that long. 5 to 6 pages, more than enough, right? But you've got to go hard on the detail, right? You want to email, you want to text, you want to LinkedIn connect, you want a Facebook friend, you want Instagram, you want Twitter, you get a cell phone number, you want to text, sorry, I've got text on there. You want to engage. The thing is you want to say, hey, I want to get your feedback on, have you read the email? What do you think? Because here's your call to action. Your call to action is, if you like what I've shared, I'd love to come and be your ad manager. If you like what I've shared, I'd love to come and be your marketing advisor. If you like what I've shared, I'd love to figure out how we can do this and put this into place and get those results for you, right? You're telling them that you want to work with them, right? In the email, in the presentation, you can say, hey, if you want my help to do this stuff, I'd love to come and talk to you about that. If you want to talk to me about that, if you want my help to do this stuff, right? So the recommendation is very detailed, right? Very detailed. You don't need to go and do hundreds of these. If you did 5 of these should land you a client, right? 10 of the 5 will land you between 1 and 2 clients. 10 will land you 4 clients if you did this. 10 would land you 4 clients. But you have to get them on a call, right? You have to get them a call, right? So detailed information. If you're a Facebook person, give them detailed information of the recommendation of the Facebook campaign that you would run for their business, right? Here's what I would do. Here's what the ads might look like. Here's the copy. Give it to them, right? But explain why. Explain the result, the outcome to them. You've got to be really, really clear, right? There's this thing called an IBP report. And what it does is it does a competition. It picks your 10 top competitors, and it has a 75-page report on all the recommendations that need to be done to fix the platform that you've actually done an assessment on. I would never give anybody 79 pages of the report. If I was going to do an audit, I would make personal recommendations in the audit, not give them the entire audit, because they're never going to read that much information. But if you pick the key succinct things and write in detail and say, hey, you know what, I just want to help your company. If you're interested, let's talk, right? Your call to action is, I want to help you do this. If you need some help, I'd love to come and help you. Or if you've got a team, get your team to do this. But if you want to have a chat, let's have a chat. So this is a big give that we're giving to the company. Not a hard thing to do. Like I said, if you do this, 4 to 5 clients out of 10 people. Easy, 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 easy. I guarantee you, if you follow through, you'll make sales on this one idea, right? So let me show, I'm just going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm just going to go to, I'm going to share with you good old Crunchbase. Where's Crunchbase? So I'm just going to share where you guys, you're there. So I'm just going to share Crunchbase. I'll just show you the site. So all of you right now, if you can see Crunchbase in front of you, it's called crunchbase.com. You just type 1 if you can see it in front of you. You can see my share. Just type 1 if you can see Crunchbase. Yep, awesome. Okay, so here's the thing. Location. So let's go location. United States, right? Industries. I'm going to pick software companies. Number of employees, 50 to 100 employees. Total amount of funding. This is how much money that they have raised, right? So I want companies with 10 to 20 million, $25 million. Because companies at 10 to $25 million need to spend that money quickly so they can get more money, right? The last funding date, I want to look at the last 6 months, right? So I'm looking for software companies with 50 to 100 employees, total funding that they've raised 10 to 25 million, cash, right? Ideal customer, last funding date, last 6 months. And then what I'm going to do is going to hit show search. And it's going to show me there are 26 results. If I look at that criteria, I could probably go less and look for less funding and see how many more companies have got there. But there are 26 companies right now. Now, if I'm a Facebook advertiser, if I'm an AdWords person, if I'm a funnel sales builder, if I'm a whatever it is that I do, email marketing, reignition campaigns, whatever I do, what I'm going to do is go and do the research on the company. Hit the company, find out who the managing director and the CEO is. That's the person you're going to communicate with. CEO. Now, some of you might be asking, John, how the hell do I get the CEO of the company? It's not listed on the website. It's really easy. There's this device. I don't know if you have ever seen one. You ever seen one of these? It's called a phone, right? You can actually call the company, right? Say, hey, I'm just wanting to send an email to the managing director. Is that Peter Thomas by any chance? No. It's Mary Smith. Great. And I just want to make sure I've got Mary's correct email address. Is that Mary at ABC Company or is it Mary S at ABC Company? No, it's Mary at ABC. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Call off the call. Now I've got the email. Remember, we're only doing this to 10 people, right? 5 to 10 people. We're not doing this to hundreds of people. So now I've just shown you within a minute how you can get somebody's email, a CEO, a managing director of the company. Really easy, right? I just want to make sure I've got the records right. Or you can do a search. Who is the managing director of this company? Then call the company and say, look, I know Tom Smith is a managing director, just making sure that I've got the right protocol for his email. Is it tom.s at abc.com? And they'll go, no, it's just Tom at, okay, thank you very much for doing that. See you later, right? So now I've got the email that I can send the email to. But now I can find people based on criteria of money. They've got money, right? Lots of money. Anybody that's got 10 to $25 million to spend, the raising capital, they can spend $10,000 of that money with you or $100,000 of that money with you, right? So this is an easy place to find customers. It is a paid service. I think you can get a free trial and you can get as many clients as you like off this list. This is one website. The other one that I look to is the Inc. 5000 list, pick the 2019 list. Any company 5 million plus, 5 million plus companies, there are 1,224 companies on the Inc. 5000 list that fit the criteria of 5 million plus. So again, we only need 10 out of the 1,224 clients, not 100, right? Not 1,000. We don't want to scrape the whole list. We're going zero in, pick who we want to work with, right? If it's your niche, go and pick your niche, top 100 companies, Google search it. Top 100 roofing companies in America, top 100 plumbers, top 100 dentists, top 100, there's a top 100, right? We need to pick 5 to 10. We don't need 20, we don't need 30, 5 or 10. And what we're going to do is we're going to give them the gold, right? We've got Scott McConaughey here, one of our champions. They're amazing at generating leads in the roofing market. They're not going to go and target roofing companies, the independent guy that's sitting on the road. They're targeting the $100 million, $20 million, $30 million, $100 million company. They're the people that they want to do leads with because they've got $30, $40, $100,000 budgets, right? So Scott, I don't know if you're still here, but you know this is for you. So this is what you want to do, right? Like for me, if you said, John, what would you go and do that's really easy, cost you nothing, right? To go and get some money. And I did this when I first started out. Neil Patel did this when he first started out. If you know who Neil Patel is, just look him up. Ramit Sethi did this when he first started out, right? Brendan Dunn did this when he first started out. There's a whole bunch of people that have done this, right? It's this huge give that you give to the marketplace in the chat. Okay, so Chris, thank you for raising the objections. I'm just going to do a stop share here and talk to you personally. So Chris is asking a question here. If I asked why, if the person, the gatekeeper asked you why you were doing this. So think about my approach to this call. Hey, so I'd find out who the managing director is anyway. I want to find out who that is. Say, hey, I'm just making sure we got our records right. Mary Smith is your CEO. Is that correct? I'm just making sure I'm spelling Smith correctly. Is it Smith or Smythe or, Smith? Great. That's awesome. Mary, thank you very much for doing that. Look, I just want to make sure we've got the right email. It's mary@abccompany.com, or is it Mary S at ABC Company? Oh, no, it's Mary at ABC Company. Karen, thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate that. Boom, I'm out of there, right? I'll guarantee you, Chris, if you take that confident tone, they will give you the email. Nobody's hiding their email. It's just a freaking email. These people get hundreds of emails every day, right? Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be, because it's not. If you really want to get the person's email, all you got to do is scrape the email out of the straight out of LinkedIn, and you don't even have to call anybody, right? Getting the email, like most people, like, are you serious? You're gonna get caught up on getting an email? Pick up the freaking phone and just ask them for it. They'll give it to you, right? Because they give those emails to people all the time. Yeah. James, the subject line. Go and watch the 35 videos that I've put out in the last 30 days, and I think I've covered about 100 subject lines, James. Ask me a generic question like that, I'm going to give you a generic answer. Who is the market? What business are we talking about? What's the industry they're in? Tell me those things, and I'll give you a subject line. Generic subject line, quick question. Hey, you need to read this shit. That's a good subject line. Hey, you need to read this shit. I'll bet you that one gets opened. Right? So, questions. Right? Now, when I say, so I'm going to give you an example of this exact thing, because I did it for a company, and this was in the solar plumbing market. So I actually did this strategy, and I did it because I wanted to work with this company. Right? I did it because I wanted to work with this company. So here's an example. This company specialized in selling solar hot water systems for homes. So your hot water, your heated water is heated by solar, not using electricity, right? So the average sale was anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000 was the average sale. And the reason why I chose this company was a couple of reasons. Because I was looking at, there was a company that was really dominant in the marketplace, and then there was this company that was kind of not as dominant, but I saw the ads around the place. I knew by just looking at the website, they had like 5 vans, so they were a decent sized company. They had about 20 employees. So, but then I looked at the other company had like 50, 100 employees, right? So it was a bigger company. But for whatever reason, I chose number 2 rather than number 1. And so the way I did this was I sat down there and I looked at the website. The website sucked. I literally went through and said, listen, the reason I'm reaching out to you is you're number 2 in the market. And either that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I guarantee you're pissed off with number 1. Number 1, terrible service, but for some reason they get more calls than you do. They provide terrible service to the customers, and yet they're still number 1 in the marketplace. And I'm sure this pisses you off. So you know what? If you're interested, let's go and piss number 1 off. All right. In the market, if we want to take some market share. But before we do that, I just want you to pay attention to a couple of things that you need to be aware of in your business. So I ripped their website apart in the thing. So look, load slowly, no call to action, terrible landing pages, your CRO, your title tags, all that kind of crap, your rankings all over the place, not really working for you, not optimized correctly. Here are your 10 competitors in the marketplace. This is where you are, this is where they are, right? You're the red line at the bottom, they're all the blue lines at the top. So I did an assessment, right? From there, I said, hey, you need to allocate a budget. Right now, if you want to outperform the guy at the top end, you're never going to have the budget. You probably don't have the budget to be able to compete at that level right now. But what you need to do is you need to be contributing X amount of dollars per month, probably about 25 to 30 grand a month. And that's going to give you roughly about 1,000 or more inquiries. And then from there, you should be able to close anywhere between 50 to 100 deals, or 50 deals at least on average per month, right? 50 deals, multiply that by an average of 5. That's $250,000 every single month in new sales in your business, right? That's $2.8 million over the course of the year, right? So that's what I did. I just literally wrote. It was 16 pages I wrote in this email to this person. His name is John, by the way. So I wrote 16 pages and I explained the whole thing, explain what I do, and I say, listen, this is what I do. I help people devise a strategy, to maximize conversions, create the opportunity to create some domination in your local markets, or pick your battles where you can win. If you're interested, I'd love to at least have a conversation with you. I sent this email to him, and I didn't hear back from him for about 4 days, but I kept on sending another email saying, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? You need to read this shit, right? That's what I did, right? He read the email, and I got a phone call, and he called me on the phone. He says, mate, first of all, thanks for ripping me a new one in my business. Like, I thought he was going to chew me out, right? Thanks for ripping me a new one in my business. I didn't appreciate all your comments. We spent a lot of money doing those sorts of things, and you literally just blasted us for it. But, you know, and he said, look, I'm glad you did it because it makes a lot of sense. He says, we've never really allocated a budget. Like, we're a company, we're growing, we're doing like $10 million in revenue, but we've never really allocated a budget to marketing. I said, well, you need to, right? And here's why, yeah? And those numbers that I showed you were pretty, because I don't know you and I don't know what you're doing in the sales cycle, my numbers were really, you know, kind of conservative, unreliable projections, right? But he says, you know, it's funny, you kind of got it right there. I said, yeah, but my question is, if you're generating 1,000 leads and you're only closing 50 deals, there's 950 deals where people put their hand up and said, I want some hot water, and you didn't help them. So you've lost like $30 million in revenue, right? Every single month if you don't close those deals, right? And so we started that conversation. So he sat there and he said, got me in, right? He says, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to allocate a budget of $280,000. And he said, you can have half of it. I'll give you 140 grand, right? But we've got a $280,000 budget, right? You can have half of it. 14 grand a month, right? Let's do the deal. Let's do it. That was what I did by just sending him an email, right? Because literally bearing it all. And I gave him, like, I thought about it, right? I thought about his competition. I looked at what his competition was doing. I looked at what he was doing. I literally laid it out for him. 16 pages, right? He read every single page, right? In fact, he says, I read this twice. He said, I gave it to my wife and she read it. And she said, we need to talk to this guy, right? So understand that this strategy works brilliantly, right? Any questions? By the way, if you've enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed this session, just type 3 if this is something that's been helpful and useful. Love to know your biggest takeaway from today. Biggest takeaway from today's strategy. John Blake 3. Holy cow. Chris, I looked at his website, I called the company and I got, went through his sales process. I got a quote. I actually looked at all the competition. I went and checked ads. I checked direct mail pieces. I went and looked at assets online. I looked at everything, Chris. I looked at everything. Everything. As much as I could find about the company I looked at. I checked his LinkedIn, their Facebook profile. I went through everything. Yeah. Oscar Ravello says, this is a 9. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. So biggest takeaway. By the way, this strategy, all of you can do it. It costs you nothing to do it, right? The only thing that's stopping you is you. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, down and dirty. If I would recommend that you don't make it perfect, because all I did was just wrote a scrubby email, basically, and just spewed out on the email. I didn't, and by the way, grammar, spelling mistakes, all kinds of shit. Didn't get it right, right? Mark says, I got a client like that, but the corona stopped us. But it'll work once, it's done. Yes. Yes, Howard, I spent a lot of time on it. Yes. But Howard, what did I spend on that? I probably spent about 3 days, just it wasn't the only thing I was working on, but I probably spent about 3 days going through everything I did on that thing, about 3 days. But it landed $140,000 sale, Howard. Was it worth spending 3 days to get 140 grand? That's the question I want to ask you, right? You know, if I did that to 10 people, I know I would have gotten more sales. I've done that. I've done that many times. It's how I've launched most businesses. Takeaway, Eric says, Crunchbase, yeah. Chris says, hell, I've got more time than money at this point. This is worth it, yeah. BAMOS, James Shaky said the BAMOS, the important numbers, absolutely. Absolutely, thank you, yeah. So here's the thing. I'm going to give you one more example of what I've shared with you in this process. So one of our champions, Mark, took this idea, right, and he literally crafted and had the whole campaign and everything done for the client. The client didn't ask for it. This was for a law school. So this was for Brooklyn Law. Brooklyn Law was one of the most prestigious, one of the most recognized and prestigious law schools in the United States. Not up there with Harvard, but it is recognized for its law degrees. And so he sat down and he literally created the entire Facebook ad campaign for Brooklyn Law School, right? So this is what I would do. This is what it has to look like. This is how it's going to work. This is the purpose. Here's the psychology behind the campaign. This is the strategy, right? He spent a couple of days working on this, right? He sent it to the dean of admissions, the marketing director. He sent this thing to all three people, right? And just said, look, if I were you, this is what I would do. You're a premier provider in the marketplace. This is my recommendation. So they could have taken that and they could have run with it, but they didn't take it. They got on the phone with Mark and said, listen, Mark, this is amazing, right? Like, I don't know why you would just give this away. This is incredible. We need to speak to you, right? That deal turned into a $400,000 Facebook ad management deal. $400,000. In fact, our champions get this pitch deck that he built that strategy on in champions in our coaching. They actually have access to the deck that won a $400,000 Facebook ad campaign by sharing a complete strategic campaign for that school. Now, it's no different to what he would do for any client. He was sitting down. He literally handed to them on a silver platter what the A/B split tests were, what the campaigns looked like, what the copy was, how to optimize the campaign, everything. $400,000 deal, right? Gave the value. If I look at another person, Dan Meredith, I don't know if anybody knows who Dan Meredith is. If you look up Dan Meredith, look up Espresso with Dan. Dan's a copywriter. He was one of my consulting champions. When Dan came to me, he was starting from scratch, but he was a copywriter. He says, dude, I'm a copywriter. We don't, make a lot of money. I'm not, I'm kind of not known or anything like that in the marketplace. And I said, well, if you do exactly what I tell you to do, Dan, I'll guarantee you're going to make lots of money, right? So if you follow it and do it, you're going to make it. So here's what I recommend that he did. I said he chose the fitness niche. He liked the fitness niche. He was into fitness. He had his own gyms. He wanted to be a fitness niche copywriter. So I said, who are the top 30 guys in the fitness niche? Can you get a list of all the gurus? He said, yeah, I've got a list. Great. Now I want you to go write copy for them and send it to them. Write copy for their products, their services, their programs, their supplements. Just write a campaign and send them the campaign. Send it to them free, right? And he says, I can do that. So just do one a day, one campaign a day, right? Sit down, think about their product, think about the question you ask, think about the customer's journey, just send a copy. All I want you to do is to pick the top 10 guys and just do it for the top 10 guys, right? And so he did that. And so within 30 days, right, he had 3 clients. Now, they were paying him $10,000 a month for sales copy. He was a total unknown. Nobody knew who he was, but he was writing great copy because he was writing it every day. He was thinking about the product and the service, and he was getting their copy. Within 4 months, Dan Meredith built a $400,000 copywriting agency, a $400,000 $500,000 copywriting agency in 4 months. In 4 months, if you go to the Consulting Only website, you'll actually see Dan Meredith tell you exactly what he did, right? So he wrote this copy. So within now, here's the cool thing: Dan, when he was hired, didn't write the copy for the clients. He was getting paid 10 grand a month to write copy. He didn't write the copy. He actually hired other copywriters who were in the fitness market, and then he would edit the copy and then put his slant on it and then give that copy. So he didn't even do the work, right? $500,000 to write copy for copy that you didn't write. How cool was that? So this strategy that I've shared with you is a very simple way of adding very significant value. But here's the trick. You have to call, you have to text, you have to email, you have to get them on a phone call. Did you have a chance to read this thing that I put together for you? I'd love, now here's the thing, I'm going to guarantee you're going to piss some people off, right? Because some people don't like to be told that their marketing is shit, right? They don't. because they spend millions of dollars sometimes making shit marketing not work for them. And that's okay, right? But there'll be some people who will absolutely adore and love you for this, right? They will love you for adding this value to their business. So it's a really simple strategy. Every single person on here can do it. It's a really simple step. Break it down, in great detail. Give them the big give, right? And then let them know, hey, I'm just looking to help people like you. If you need some help, or if you think that I can help you, let's get on a call, let's talk. That's what you're doing. You're offering to help. You're offering to be hired for this service. So with that, I want to answer your questions. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes here. If anybody's got a question, let me answer your question. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you and let you go and enjoy your weekend. I'm doing market research and wondering where to find, or if you can repeat the approach where you ask how much they're willing to pay to acquire that client and walking them into a sale. Omar, there's tons of videos on my YouTube channel that you can go to, and you've got some stuff already that we've given you as well. But here's the thing, Omar, how to anchor price, right? Like we're talking about part of the sales process here. So how to anchor price in the sales process, it's a direct question. If you know how much a client's worth, if you know the value of a client and the value of the lifetime value, right? So the value of the client, let's say the customer says 10 grand, right? But if the customer buys, 3 times a year, that's $30,000. If the customer stays for 5 years, that customer's worth $150,000. So my question to the business owner is, 150 grand lifetime value, how much would you pay to acquire that customer? And generally people will say 10 to 20%. So if you're saying 10 grand, right, you're willing to pay between 1,000 and 2,000 per customers. That means for 10 customers, you're willing to pay between $10,000 and $20,000 for those 10 customers. So if I was giving you 10 customers a month, would you pay me $10,000 a month for those 10 customers? The answer is a no-brainer, yes. That's how you anchor the price, right? So hopefully that answers your question, Omar. If also asking for information interview, would you do this before asking for the interview? So Chris, so I don't know what you mean. That doesn't make any sense to me. If you're asking for a interview, to interview them, or for them to interview you, I don't understand, Chris. Would you do this before? I wouldn't, like the whole purpose of what I'm sharing with you, Chris, is to make the sale. It's got nothing to do with getting an interview, right? This is to actually get the sale, to get the information. To do the market research, there's this thing called Google. It's a website that most people find very difficult to find. I'll spell it for you. It's Google. I know I'm being a smart ass by saying this, but you can find a lot of stuff on Google about a lot of companies. You can check their registrations. You can check money that they've raised. You can check, if you go to Reference USA, you can find out how much money they've made over the last 3 years. You can you also find the managing director. There's plenty of places you can do research on online. It's pretty easy to get research online. I call the company and act like a customer. If you want to do great research, call the company and ask for the marketing department, or ask for a salesperson and say, great, tell me about how great you are. And then I'll tell you everything. So how do people buy? And I'll tell you exactly how people buy. So roughly what have I got to do? What are my range of spending here? And I'll tell you exactly how much money they charge for what they do, right? Talk to the marketing department or talk to the sales department, and I'll tell you everything. Everything. You just keep asking questions. I'll just keep feeding you stuff. And I'll tell you. Ask for their brochures. Ask for their stuff. Send their, I've actually gotten brochures from companies posted, and then I've gotten a red marker and gone, wrong. This is what I would change, and then send it back to them, right? I've done stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah. So easy to do. If you want great research, call the sales and marketing department of the company. You'll get great research. Thanks. Any other questions? Any other questions? Happy to answer any questions we have. Yes or no, maybe. Chris, how do I introduce marketing? I don't. I just pick up the phone and say, hey, can I find a little bit more about your company? Or I ask for the salesperson. I don't introduce them. I just pick up the phone and say, hey, marketing, I want to know a little bit more about your company. What can you tell me? If they've got a PR department, go and call the PR department. Say, hey, what can you tell me? James, what's the subject line? Again, there's this hidden website called Google. Type in best subject lines for emails. I'm sure there's a list of 100 subject lines. My favorite person to go for subject lines is if you go to Jay Abraham. He has this thing like the top 100 headlines, or type in, like you can go in top 100 headlines for ads. And then I always used to use that for variations for subject lines. So it's really easy. James says, can I find Google on Yahoo? Yes. Google Yahoo on Google. Google, go on Yahoo and Google. Go on Yahoo and search for Google. Thank you, Oscar. I really appreciate you saying that. Look, I hope this was cool. I am going to be here tomorrow, same time, same back channel. It is my Sunday. I know it's your Saturday in the world. I am doing these sessions every single day, so I will be here tomorrow. I'd love to get some feedback on some of the stuff you've been doing here. Mark John's made 5 sales in the last couple of weeks, applying the strategies that he's been learning here on these daily calls. But maybe we should do some strategy breakdowns if you're brave enough to hop on these calls. But I want to say thank you for being here. I hope this has been helpful and useful. Like I said, follow the path, make the plan, make it a must. Every single person on this call, you have no excuses not to add at least 10 to 20,000, minimum 10 grand. Every single person on this call can add $10,000 to their bank account. Everybody. Like, no excuses. The only reason that you would not get that money in your bank account is because you're just not doing anything. And I've shown you today how you can actually get big clients with big budgets, right, to spend more than 10 grand with you. So with that, I want to say thank you for being here. If you know anybody who should come and sit in on these, consultingunleashed.com/go, send them there, because we've got lots of stuff. YouTube channel, Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, jump in the Facebook group. Again, I want to thank you for being here today. I will be here tomorrow. 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be on this call. So I want to thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you on the next training. Same time, same bat channel, 3 p.m. LA time, and 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everybody.